What up? It's Jimmy from odds.com. This is a clip from our big NBA show. To check out the entire show, hit the link at the bottom of the screen. It's available exclusively on odds.com. We got it all on this show. We got sides, totals, props. We move on. 8 p.m. Eastern. Houston Rockets at Oklahoma City Thunder. And this is another game with tons of moving parts that I'm so excited about. The total opens up at 223.5. And I've got the market all over the place here. I don't know. Let me just I've got a very strange totals here. Let's see what all these licensed books are giving out for the totals here. Yeah, it's all down to 221.5.
Wow.
Some of these they're claiming at this point that some of these books are up to 223.5 and 224. But I don't understand why some would be. So no, I think that's just I think those are stale lines.
Oh, they capping.
I see it opening up at that number around 223.5, and we're down to 221.5 or 221, and that under makes perfect sense. And those that looked at that these two teams and made that move. Now, maybe they made the move because, as you mentioned right before we got on, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is a late scratch in this game, and that's probably it. The Shea was announced out, and they just cut 2.5 points off of it right now. But even so, I still like this under. We're at Chesapeake Energy Arena, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And these are two teams that have been playing with decent pace. Houston, by the way, opening up at 5.5. They're now sitting at 6.5 point favorites, and they're rolling. Their pace the last five, fourth in the NBA at 103.1 possessions a game. Thunder pace speeding up. Last 5, 6 at 102.1 possessions a game. We'll see how that changes with Shea out of the lineup. Rockets won 6 straight, 4 coming by double digits. Actually, 4 coming by 15 plus. These teams met in a 136-106 trouncing of the Thunder in Oklahoma City on Monday night. The Rockets hit 11 threes and scored 48 points in the first quarter. It was the second straight game the Rockets had a 48-point quarter. They were 11 for 14 from beyond the arc in that opening quarter, 28 for 52 in the game. 53.8%. Eric Gordon went for 25. That Rockets bench, he's a big part of. They went for 68 points, half of the team's output. John Wall scored the first 8 points for the Rockets, finished with 18.6 boards, 5 assists, and he is listed as out for Wednesday's game with an Achilles injury. Christian Wood also went for 18 and 11 boards. The setback to the Rockets was the Thunder's second straight blowout loss. After being a strong defensive team this year, and not really strong, but decent defensive team all year, they've allowed 283 points over their last 2 games. Luguentz Dort, someone we talk about often in this show, he's averaging just 8.4 points per game over his last 5. He's 7 for 31 from 3 over his last 5. And Shea's out of the lineup, and he didn't have a very good game. He was a minus 31 against the Rockets, 19 points, 5 assists, 2 boards. I got to get on this under right away. Are the Rockets going to shoot the lights out without John Wall feeding them perfect pinpoint passes? Are the Thunder going to be able to do anything without Shea? I got to get on this under right away at 12:20 a.m. Eastern. I mean, this is just going to go down, down, down. So that's my move. I'm going to get on this as soon as the show's over. I should have done it already. Wham, take it away. Rockets, Thunder.
I agree with you, man. I'm feeling the under as well, bro. I honestly thought it was going to be at 225. That's what I was thinking that this game was going to be set at, but that's before I thought about the SGA being in or out. I didn't even think he was on the injury report, but hey, he's out. So there it is. But James being out of this team for the Rockets, man, they've been killing. Last 7 games, 6-1 straight up. The number 1 in defensive rating, number 3 in pace, number 3 in 3 points made. Now, without John Wall in the lineup, it's kind of sketch, but this is an OKC team who has only won 1 game at the house. And without Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who's had the keys, who we've been riding his props, who's been honestly looking great and been doing a lot of the decision-making. I do like Theo Maledon, but I don't think a rookie is going to come in there and just take this all away and just make this a great game against a team that's honestly seemed like they've been getting great coaching as of late with Silas. I'm not going to say too much there, but we're going to wait to see from that point. But I was expecting Shea to be in this lineup, so this kind of threw me off a little bit. But honestly, the free throws in this last game is what thing that was kind of glaring at me in the last game with these two. They foul this team in the Rockets. They foul a lot, so they ranked 10th in the last 3 games. They're ranked 10th in fouls committed at 21 fouls a game. In that last game with OKC, they fouled 20 times, but there was only 19 free throw attempts. And Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who played in that game, he only had one free throw goal make in that game. So he didn't really get to the line like that. It seemed like they weren't really that aggressive in the game. I didn't really watch the game, but from the look of it, and far as the stats and the highlights and stuff, looked like they weren't really that as aggressive here. I do think that may change. Even though Shea's not in the lineup, you still got to coach up the guys that have been there. So they should be a little bit more aggressive. That kind of does lean towards this under. I do believe that this is a good under spot. And OKC, without one of their guys, that's a lot of usage. I mean, he's at what, 40% usage. That guy's being taken out. We've seen it with Magic when they lost Fultz. As soon as he goes out, a guy, high usage guy goes out. Those tends to go towards the unders, and that tends to be detrimental towards the team. So I'm leaning Rockets here, and I definitely agree with you on the under, bro.
Well, I can get you a 221.5 at minus 105. Under 221.5. It says here that Fox Bet is hanging at 223.5. And I just feel like that's a stale line. You know what I'll do is I'll look up Fox Bet and get on their site, and then maybe we can.
Yeah, I'm seeing 221 at my book too, I think.
Yeah, we did the one thing we can always promise everybody is the honesty and transparency part, and not giving out stale lines. And from my time working with Pete Loshak, that was the one thing that bothered him enormously was when cappers would give out stale lines. Like he would lose his shit over it. And
As he should, as he should. I mean, you out here giving out, plus 3,000s and shit.
but it's off the board. So it's off the board.
Yeah.
Over at Fox Bet. And that makes sense. So okay, so 221.5 at minus 105 at points bet. And let's give you that right now. So Wham is
lock that in.
Wham under 221.5 minus 105. And if the Rockets go nuts from the perimeter, they're going to cover this game easily.
Right.
Do you want to back, and you have to ask yourself as a capper, do you want to back a team that just went 28 for 52, 53.8% from three, and now it's not going to have John Wall feeding them the rock? And my answer is no. I think this is in the teens when we wake up in the morning, 219, 220. I love it. I'm going to do this exact same thing as you there, Wham.